Let's bring in CTV News royal correspondent Richard Berthelsen. Richard, where would you like to begin? I think we should begin with Meghan revealing she had suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, among the really difficult moments of this interview to watch, no doubt that was one of the most difficult. And it's obviously a really tragic and sad period of her life that she felt that way and that she was pushed to that. Not always clear to me, what she was alluding to. And some of it, I mean, I think obviously her treatment in the tabloid press, the sense that she raised throughout the interview of the lack of protection that she had from the institution, possibly towards the, gave her a sense of hopelessness and, not wanting to continue on. And we can only be thankful that she found the strength, and she found the strength with her relationship with Prince Harry to continue. Now, I mean, I was surprised to hear her say that no one offered her help or ideas because, the royal family have access to some of the best medical care in the United Kingdom. Other members of the royal family have certainly had treatment with people for mental health related issues from time to time because they do live in a very, very tough situation. So a bit surprised to hear that part of the story and, certainly, a very, very disturbing part of this interview. But, obviously very good that she's spoken out about it.
Let's talk about another tough situation. Meghan said they apparently, as a couple, had issues about race, especially with respect to baby Archie, as far as the family was concerned, outside of Harry and Meghan.
Yeah, again, another extremely difficult part of the conversation, and not a lot of details were provided, so it's difficult to understand the issue fully. Obviously, the tabloid press were very, very nasty and, made really inappropriate comments about Meghan's race, early on in their relationship. Prince Harry spoke about that. There's a lot of examples. We know that's the case. I found this really a tough part of the interview to watch because, the title situation for baby Archie was very clear by rules that were set down in 1917. Archie doesn't have a title at the moment. He would in due course. So I'm not really sure how all that got related. It kind of got into a bit of a jumble for me to understand. But again, this is a very disturbing part of the conversation. And speculation about what race Archie would be or what color his skin would be, really difficult to hear that. And obviously they only were prepared to talk about it to a certain degree. But this is, an area I think we're going to hear about more in the days to come.
And Richard, we might also hear about Prince Harry, worried about, and this is likely a reference to his late mother, but worried about history, quote unquote, repeating itself. Only this time, he said, it's far more dangerous due to race and social media factors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Diana did not live in a time of social media. I mean, the media she was dealing with was, the mainstream media, the paparazzi press, particularly when she was in Europe. So, I mean, that is a very different situation. He's spoken about that on several occasions. Again, we certainly hope that doesn't repeat itself. I mean, ultimately, that was a situation of a car accident where people were behind the wheel that shouldn't have been. And Harry has always blamed the media for that. I hope that, nothing ever comes, to pass that's like that. And obviously he does too. And I think he was speaking in maybe a more general way than about the specifics of the incident. But again, very difficult to hear him talk like that and very difficult to imagine that kind of concern for your wife and your children.
And real quick, if you can, it's also heartbreaking. He says he's no longer speaking with his father. His father's not taking his calls, Prince Charles, that would be, and he's taking space from his brother.
Yeah, I mean, I actually interpreted that he was sort of back on speaking terms with his father. I think he went through a period where they maybe became a bit estranged over the decision a year and a bit ago, January of 2020. And I think he said that they're rebuilding that relationship. Obviously, his brother and him have had a bit of a parting of the ways. Those are the three relationships in that family between, Prince Charles, William, and Harry clearly have been very strained over this. There's been lots of reports about it. And obviously, I think both William and Charles feel to some degree a bit abandoned, that they had, expected to be a team going into Prince Charles's reign and also Prince William's, and that's not maybe going to be the case now. And so that's probably very difficult for them to accept. And I think, that is something that's been speculated about for a while, and it was laid bare tonight in, a very, very real way.
The world is watching. What do you think will be the response from the palace, Richard?
It's difficult to say if the palace will want to keep responding to this interview in so many ways as they did last week a bit with the staff that had come forward. I think there may be people who will just want to let this lie for a while rather than get into responding. There are areas of the interview that the palace could easily respond to correct some of the record that they may feel is different than it was stated tonight. I'm not clear on what the best way for them is going to be forward, but they are going to have, obviously, tomorrow morning when they see this in London, it's going to be extremely uncomfortable viewing, both for members of the royal family and certainly for members of the household staff.
Yeah, a very, very deep interview, it seems, with Oprah Winfrey. We should end it on a positive note. They did announce they're expecting a little baby girl in the summer, so there is that. CTV News royal correspondent Richard Berthelsen, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Anita.